What's up, comic book community? My name is Joe, and you're watching 360 Comics. I am so excited for this video today because this may go down as the single best comic book find in the wild that I have ever had. It was just a small stack of 10 Golden Age comics, all from the early to mid 1940s, but there was some really, really good stuff in there, as you can see. I actually uncovered these asking questions at a flea market. I'm going to give you the whole story and show you all 10 books. And guess what? This isn't even the best one, so stick around. Don't forget, we're doing a 3,000 subscriber giveaway right here on YouTube, where the prize is this Incredible Hulk number 449, the first appearance of the Thunderbolts. If you want to win this, just subscribe to the channel, like this video, and leave a comment down below. And then you can check out our other videos, like them, and leave comments on them for additional entries. Also, head on over to Instagram, give me a follow there, because we're doing a 9,000 follower giveaway. And the prize is a Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends number 1. Good luck. I'll keep it short with how I got this collection so we can get into the books and stuff, but it is a really, really good story in my opinion, and it started off where it usually does for me, at the flea market. Every weekend I go to the flea markets in my area and adjacent areas, and I hunt for comic books. And there was a guy who had a bunch of graphic novels and trade paperbacks, hardcovers, but no comic books. And I asked him, do you have any comics? And he said, well, I collect for myself, don't really want to sell any of my own things right now. This is just stuff that I don't really need around anymore. And I said, okay, cool. We got talking, and he actually had done a YouTube channel a number of years ago, and had a list of a bunch of comics he was looking for. So, we exchanged some notes and stuff like that. And he mentioned to me that he had come across some really incredible books that were just out of his price range and not really stuff that were on his list of things that he wanted to pick up. But he thought I may be interested in them, and certainly I was. He told me that he was at a yard sale or something and had talked to the guy who basically owned some old Batman comics from the Golden Age, and instantly, obviously, my ears perked up at that point. And this guy was nice enough to give me the guy's number, and I told him, hey, if I end up picking this up, we got to talk about like a finder's fee or something. We parted ways, and I went on with my day, and I texted the number that I got and said, hey, I heard you have some Batman books. I got your number, and I'd like to come take a look at them. And instantly he sends back a picture of this book and another book that you're going to see at the end of this video. We're going to save that one because that is the best book in this bunch. But he sent those back, and I was like, okay, I need to get this. This is going to be just an incredible find. Let's make it happen. So we set up a time. Fortunately, he was available later that day. I had to sweat it out for a couple hours, and finally I went over, and sure enough, this guy's got a small stack of 10 Golden Age books, all early to mid 1940s. I believe the earliest book is 1942, and the latest book is 1945 or 46. So all like World War II era stuff. And oh man, we negotiated on a price, which we'll talk about at the end as well. But I couldn't believe this. This guy had these books. He was older guy, retired age, probably in his late 60s, maybe early 70s. And he said that these books were his dad's, and his dad had bought them off the shelf when he was, a kid back in the early 40s. And his father at this point was 91 years old, and his dad had, lived in the same, house most of his life, and had moved to like a retirement center and brought these comics with them because it was just a small shoebox. And, at that point, they figured, downsize, get rid of stuff. And, the son took the comics and was ready to move them on. And I couldn't believe that these comics lasted. So many things got thrown away. Comics were getting burned in the 1950s. And, in the process of moving, a lot of people get rid of stuff, whether it be, throwing them away, selling them, giving it to another family member. But these stayed with the original owner for a long time, into his 90s. And then his son took them and, was willing to give them, but he knew the value. So we'll talk about the price in a little bit. Let's get into the books. we're going to start down at the 10th book, the one with the least value here, and we're going to work our way up. And that is Mutt and Jeff number 19. It is a 0.5, unfortunately, because it is missing a panel. Somebody clipped a panel out, maybe stuck it to their wall or something like that. But, with the panel clipped out, it's a 0.5. Nonetheless, it is still a book from 1945, an old Golden Age book, and does still have value. You see, I priced it at just 20 bucks. Really affordable, entry-level book as far as the 40s go. And it presents like a 2.5 or a 3. It's just a 0.5 due to that panel being clipped. There's a lot of collectors out there for the cartoon stuff, and most of them want, the stuff that's more affordable. I tend to, have the $5, $10, $15 gold and silver age stuff go a lot, quicker and a lot easier than some of the more expensive keys and stuff. This one, not a key, just a Mutt and Jeff book. It's got a cool cover. Can't go wrong with that. Moving on, another book that unfortunately has some issues with it. This is Looney Tunes and Merry Melodies number 40. This is from 1945. Now, the cover is detached on this one. I have it graded at a 1.8 to 2.0. The cover's detached, and there is a small spine split up on the top of the book. But nonetheless, again, from 1945, this comic has lasted, nearing 80 years at this point. Again, a great cover. Can't really go wrong with these cool cartoon collectibles from this time period. And at just $30, this one is very affordable compared to a lot of books from this era. Now, there were a bunch of war books in there as well, including this one right here. We got True Comics number, I forget what number this is, 28. This is from 1943, and this was one of the nicer looking comics in this collection. I have it graded at a 5. Did I say 5.5? No, 5.0 to 5.5. True Comics is definitely one that I've heard thrown out before as, one of the, more collectible runs of the Golden Age. And, definitely got a cool little multi-panel cover here. Nothing particularly of note about this book, which is why I priced it at only 35 bucks. And this one actually sold already, and it is accounted for. So, sorry, this one will not be up for grabs because someone already paid for it in my claim sale over the weekend. Moving on to another war book here. This is Real Heroes number 11. This one also, I believe, was 1943, if I remember correctly. I didn't write the date on the back. This one I have graded at a 2.5 to 3.0. There's a stain on the back cover, and again, the cover is detached. It's a really nice looking book, though. Unfortunately, that detached cover is going to bring it down. I think, if the cover was attached, it'd probably be like a 4.5, but you got to knock it down due to the stain and detached cover. Again, not really a key, but very similar to the last book. A cool multi-panel war cover, and it's just 40 bucks in the condition that it's in. So really attainable book as far as some Golden Age stuff goes. Then we're going back to some cartoon stuff. This is New Funnies number 99 from 1945. Very interesting signs of the time cover here. We got all the character heads on the side. Definitely a little bit of a controversial character up here. And, just a goofy cartoon cover with this toy plane flying into this cake. And, this one is a 4.5 to 5.0. So a nice lower side of mid-grade book from 1945. And I have it priced at $40. Again, an affordable book as an entry-level Golden Age collector that might not want to be shelling out for the horror and the heroes and stuff like that. This one, man, I wish this book was complete. This one, unfortunately, does also have a panel clipped, but this would be a much more expensive book if it did not have that panel clip, especially because it presents like a 4.0. Now, I posted this on Instagram. You may have seen it. It has one staple. That was very normal for this time. This book came out in 1943, and during World War II, they were rationing metal for the war efforts. So it makes sense that they were only using one staple in comics. And because of that, that's more stress, more weight, more shifting and stuff on that one staple. So those covers are often torn at the staple or ripped off completely. This one, fortunately, rather nice shape, but again, it does have a panel clipped. By the way, this is Walt Disney Comics and Stories number 34, and it's an early Carl Barks cover. Him being, the Disney artist that you would think of when collecting comics. And yeah, a great cover as well. At first, when I saw it, I thought it was that one where Mickey is flying the plane, carrying, we'll just say, illicit substances. Look that up on Key Collector. There's a very interesting controversial Mickey Mouse cover where he's flying a plane. But anyway, despite the clipped panel, I have this thing priced at $50 because every copy, even really low grade ones, were selling for over $100 because of, the early Carl Barks art on this book. And now we're moving on to some hero stuff. Definitely can't go wrong with that. Now, this book is another one that is already sold and accounted for. This is Captain Marvel number 49, I believe. Captain Marvel Adventures 49. This is from I didn't write the date on this one either. It's from that same era. Like I said, all these books were from the early to mid 40s. I'm not sure exactly what year. I think this would probably be like 45 if I were to guess. But yeah, great Captain Marvel cover. I have this graded at a 3.0. There are some tears on the interior and a tear on the front cover, but presents very nicely. If those tears weren't there, this would probably be like a 4.5, maybe even a 5.0, but those tears are definitely going to take it down quite a bit. And this one actually sold to a local guy who was buying it for his kid, and his kid loves, Shazam, Captain Marvel, and I think that's really cool that he's buying him, such an old appearance of this character, because the stuff from the 70s, all great and stuff like that, when DC took over the character, but these original books, these are the ones from Fawcett that really have stood the test of time. And we got not just Shazam or Captain Marvel on the front, but we got Billy Batson down there, his alter ego. And yeah, great one for just $50. And like I said, that one is sold already, but this one has not. So this one's still up for grabs. We got Wings Comics number 28. Number 28. This is a 3.5. There's a small piece of the corner on the front cover missing. And there's seeming like a small hole in the back cover. I asked a couple people and it didn't seem like enough of a hole to make it like incomplete or anything like that. But yeah, it takes it down obviously to a 3.5. This book really nicely presenting because the big issue is on the back cover. This is from 1942, so this is over 80 years old at this point. And my opinion, really cool cover, action shot with this guy with the the gunnery rig there. I don't even know what to call that, so I called it a gunnery rig. I don't know. But yeah, I'm not big on the war books and stuff like that, not super knowledgeable, but I know that Wings Comics is a popular title. So I got this at $70. Seems pretty decent for a book that is over 80 years old at this point. Now we're going to get into the two big ones. First up, you saw this one in the beginning of the video. Probably going to put this in the thumbnail too, so you'll have seen it there as well. Batman number 19. Now, Key Collector has this book listed as the second Dick Sprang work on Batman. And they do note that CGC actually listed as the first Dick Sprang work on Batman. So I'm not sure who is correct. I would assume that since Key Collector's kind of putting themselves out there and saying, hey, that's not true, that Batman number 18 probably is the first Dick Sprang, but I don't know. Either way, it doesn't matter who drew it. It's Batman number 19 from 1943, an 80-year-old Batman book. And I'm just going to hold this one up because this is the nicest condition book in this entire collection. I don't think this is, with the glare and all, I don't think the screen is going to do this one much justice, but holy crap, I could not believe the condition of this book. I think this book, I would be surprised if it got less than a 5.5. I think it's probably going to be like a 6. Unbelievable. unbelievable. Given the condition and everything, this book probably will be valued at over $2,000. Certainly there was a recent sale for, I think it was a 3.0 or a 3.5 for a little over $1,000. So if a 3.035 is selling for a little over $1,000, I'd have to think that something getting like a 6.0, which this might get, would probably be around double that. We'll kind of see, but it doesn't matter because I'm not selling this. This is staying in the PC. How often do you find Golden Age Batman stuff in the wild, just from communicating with someone at a flea market who had been to a yard sale and talked to a guy who had these books, who got them from his dad, who bought them off the shelf back in the early to mid 1940s. It doesn't happen very often, so I am keeping this, and I'm keeping the last book too. I can't believe that these books just sat around with this guy for so long. I can't believe no one else snatched them up. But let's move on to the last book, because this is the one that I'm most excited about. This is also one that is staying in the personal collection. I collect Golden Age Batman, and this is the book right here. This is Detective Comics number 68. And keep in mind that Batman didn't come into Detective Comics until 27. So this is a fairly early Batman appearance. Came out in 1942. Again, a book that is over 80 years old. And this one is a key, and in my opinion, a pretty gosh darn important key. This is the second appearance of Two-Face, and also his first cover appearance. He's pretty small on the cover, but I'm going to show you up close. Ooh, let's get rid of that glare right there in this this tower up there. And not just that, but he's the main character in the story. You can see, beware, Two-Face. Is he one man or two? See, the man who led a double life. Interestingly enough, I did read through this, and his name in the book is actually Harley Kent. I'm not sure if that's a typo or if that was his original name and they changed it to Harley Dent to maybe move away from Clark Kent Superman. I don't know, but yeah, he's Harley Kent in this story. Harvey Kent. Either way, I'm unbelievably excited. When it comes to Batman villains, Two-Face and Scarecrow, they have long been my favorite. Really, Two-Face has been my favorite since I was a kid. I was Two-Face for Halloween multiple different times. Loved the Batman Forever Tommy Lee Jones version of the character because I was 5 when that movie came out or whatever. And more in my adulthood, Scarecrow has become my favorite, alongside Two-Face. So this is just an unbelievable grail. And there have been no recent sales of this book in almost any grade. So it's going to be really hard to kind of figure out the value of this book. But my thought was that this book was worth a few $1,000s, maybe $3,000 minimally. That's kind of what I thought. Maybe 3,000, maybe 2,500, 3,500 on the low side. Now, as you saw, the book is in rather good condition. It's probably a mid-grade book. This one, just like the other one, I'm definitely going to get graded. I'm definitely keeping for myself. But I am curious to see what the grade is going to come back as. It's got a couple little tears on the back cover, but this one, I could see this getting a 4.5 or a 5, maybe even a 5.5. That would be phenomenal. But no matter what it comes back as, this is staying in the PC. I could not believe I found these books. That being said, let's talk about the price because, you all want to know that. I know every time I don't talk about the price, I get some complaints, and I'm sorry about that. I can't always talk about it. Some people don't like me, talking about the prices that I paid for their books or whatever. But, in this case, I can. This cost me $2,400 for all these books. I thought that was a great price. Basically, the guy had talked to a couple people and he had gotten some lowball offers. He had some people that wanted to sell them on consignment and, didn't want to pay him out in cash. This guy was like, didn't want to use Venmo, didn't want to use PayPal, didn't have any of those things. Like I said, he was an older guy, in his retired years. So, I understand him wanting to shy away from that kind of stuff. But I showed up to his house, cash in hand. He was originally asking $3,300. And I he gave me that offer, and I kind of threw out the 2,000 offer. And from there we negotiated and stuff like that. And I came up a little bit. He came down, and $2,400, phenomenal. And it's the best part about this is, I'm not going to make my money back because I'm only selling 8 of these books. I'm not selling the 2 big ones. I'll be lucky to make back a couple $100 off the other books, and maybe having, paid 2,000 for these 2, which, that's fine by me, because this stuff is for my personal collection. You don't always have to make money on every purchase, especially if you're keeping books. In this case, this is me getting these books for a great deal. Don't get me wrong. But I'm not making my money back selling the rest of the books, and I'm very okay with that. That is perfectly fine by me. Anyway, there will be a CGC unboxing of these 2 at some point. I haven't decided. I haven't done a lot of pressing and cleaning of Golden Age stuff. I haven't decided if I'm going to do it myself. They definitely need a little bit of a cleanup, because, again, they were sitting no bags, no boards, no nothing, in a shoebox for the majority of the last 80 years. So they need a little TLC, and hopefully they get the grades that I think they can get. But hope you like this video. I'm beyond excited. I found a Hulk 181 in the wild a year and a half ago. I found huge collections of 40, 50 long boxes and stuff like that. But this kind of rarity, this kind of personal collection stuff, in all honesty, like the Hulk 181 collection was like the most personally gratifying collection that I've ever gotten up until this point, and this probably now takes the cake in that spot. So hope you enjoyed the video. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And until next time, turn the page, wash your hands.